Hello, everyone. A very good morning to all of you. I am Vaishali, welcoming you all on behalf of Solar Quarter and First View Group to our today's webinar on Solar Market Outlook Eastern Africa. Thank you, all the attendees, for joining us today. I hope all the attendees have a great time networking with your peers at our exhibition tables. We will have that networking session again after the panel discussion as well. Now, I take the pleasure to thank our sponsor, JA Solar and Cleanergy, for extending their immense support to organize this event. Now, I will play the sponsor video.
From the native land of China to all corners of the world. From the seaside to the mountain tops. From the peaceful countryside to the bustling city. JA Solar is dedicated to the great cause of energy transition and innovation, a great journey that never stops. Driven by the concept of customer first and mutual value, JA Solar continues forging ahead. Dreams give us the power to imagine. Reality keeps us grounded, anchored in the present era and focusing on high-quality green development. JA Solar aims to unbundle the majesty of sunlight emanating in the universe and shapes this infinite energy into a road of new greatness by repurposing it for a higher calling. Beginning in 2005 when it was established, accelerating in 2007 when it was listed on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange in the US, and maturing in 2019 when it successfully relisted on the Shenzhen A-Shares Exchange. JA Solar has written a magnificent history through the powerful currents of those times. Throughout this journey, JA Solar has remained true to its sacred mission: develop solar power to benefit the entire human race, standing bravely on the tide and pressing ahead on firm footing. After steadily developing and improving over more than a decade, JA Solar has continued to build and perfect an integrated manufacturing chain covering silicon wafers, cells, modules, and power plants, all in an effort to achieve a vertical integration of manufacturing and marketing service systems, from the front-end products to the back-end power generation solutions. Innovation promotes advancement. Excellence produces miracles. With insight sharpened by the rapid fluctuations in the global PV market and adaptability forged by the ever-changing customer demand, JA Solar consistently gets its teams that are never satisfied to pull together and realize a road to stardom in the PV industry. Consistent quality upgrades, interminable cost reduction efforts, and effective process improvements have been the core of our efforts. JA Solar plays an active role in the digital and intellectualized transformation and upgrading, and strives to build a dual mode of intelligent manufacturing and intelligent operation by adopting such advanced technologies as big data, cloud computing, and artificial intelligence, which help to realize intelligent operation and maintenance management and quality control in the production stage, and therefore greatly enhances the security, smartness, reliability, and cost-effectiveness of the operation and maintenance of the solar power station during application stage. On this great journey of bringing grid parity across the PV industry, JA Solar produces premium cells, premium modules, and has developed an independent innovation mechanism by making continuous investment in R&D. By the end of 2019, JA Solar had been issued more than 779 patents based on its leading-edge R&D, maintaining a leading role in driving tremendous development in solar PV technology. On the foundation of leading park cell technology, JA Solar continuously optimizes module types and their component materials in order to keep improving product performance and bring down the overall LCOE for the entire value chain. The next generation of products coming out of R&D are exciting and will further contribute to the industry development. JA Solar's technology roadmap has attached great importance to perfecting the N-type solar cell, whose average conversion efficiency in mass production is estimated to exceed 25% by the end of 2019 fiscal year. JA Solar's cumulative solar module shipments exceeded 45 gigawatts, of which high-efficiency Park product has totaled 13 gigawatts, guaranteeing highly reliable components in power plants with different applications, therefore achieving enhanced financial returns for the power station owners. Harvest the sunshine. JA Solar.
So let's begin with our first presentation by Mr. Victor Masao, JA Solar.
Hello, everyone. My name is Victor Musau. I'm the Technical and Marketing Manager for JS Solar. I'm based here in Nairobi, Kenya, and I'm proud to be part of this webinar. So thank you, Solar Quarter, and all the other sponsors for making this a reality. So I'll just take a few minutes to take you through some of our products that we have available for the marketing in East Africa. So I will take you through just a brief introduction of JA and our core products. So JA Solar, for those who are not familiar, JA Solar was started in the year 2005 and is a Fortune China 500 company. So far, cumulatively, as of Q2 of this year, we've been able to ship around the world around more than 100 gigawatts, and we are covering over 135 countries globally. We have over 12 global manufacturing bases, and in these bases, we mainly do the ingots. We do also the wafers, the cells, and the modules. We also participate also on power plants. Our module capacity as of this year, we've really grown from last year. For this year, our capacity is 75 gigawatts, and the capacity for the wafers, cells, and the ingots is 60 gigawatts each. Just to catch on the JS Solar efficiency, JS Cells efficiency roadmap. At the moment, we are currently doing the P type and the N type, which is using our BiCM technology. And in terms of efficiency of our mass-produced cells, for our P type, we are currently slightly over 23% cell efficiency, and on our N type, we are over 24%. And also now we are also doing also in our basket, you also be looking into doing the tandem cells, but that will be next year. So the trend, what you've seen in the market, Currently, the mainstream product in the market, also around the world, is a P-type modules, and we foresee that in the next also 2 to 5 years, the P-type modules will still be a mainstream module product, and at the moment it has more than 90% market share, but the N-type, which is a new technology now in the market, is growing. You can see that in 2022 it has gained a lot of market segment. So within the next 3 5 years, N-type will catch up with the P-type, thus taking up even up to 50% of the market in terms of the module technology. So as a company, we are keen to see that we serve our customers in the both segment with good and quality modules. So this is just our core product. Mainly in East Africa, the market for developers is normally the C&I and a bit of the utility scale projects. But the C&I is taking a lot of the space because of the project turnarounds versus the utility scale, which are normally organized around the governments, which also take time for the approvals. So the C&I and also residential. So as a company, we have a product for each of these segments. For the residential, we normally do our 54 cell modules and also the 60 cell modules. And for the utility scale and the C&I, we do our 72 cell and 78 cell. So at the moment, we are focusing on these three. I'll just take you briefly on each. The Deep Blue 3.0, this is our mainstream product. It's based on the 182 wafer and what we call as the M10, and it's available from 415 for residential all the way to 595. So this module, this technology is a gallium doped. This is a P-type gallium doped technology, and the efficiency we're able to achieve is up to 21.3%. So most of our utility scale and C&I projects are using the 72 cell, which is our most popular product. 540, 545, and now 550s are now available they are now available in the market as well. So we have a new technology that we launched this year. We call the GFI technology, which is a gapless flexible interconnection. We are reducing the gap between the cells, and also employing some special cushioning to ensure that we improve on the cell and also the mechanical properties and the efficiency of the module. So combining that with the 11 busbar and the half-cut cell technology, we are able to see an increase in power and also an increase in efficiency in our modules. So because of that, we've been able to improve on our P-type technology. We have our latest, which is the Pro. So on the Pro, the efficiency is now 21.7 for the 560s, and we are able to achieve a power of up to 600 watts. And we have a product for each of the segment, monofacial, bifacial, and also if you prefer, the all black modules are also there for the 54 cells, which are normally tailored around the residential solar projects. So because of the GF technology, you can see that maintaining the same panel sizes in terms of dimensions, we are able to increase the power by 5 to 10 watts, and our efficiency is going up by 0.4%, 0.4% than the Deep Blue. So just an example, you can see we have a 415, and then on the Pro is a 420. And this year we launched our pilot line for this, combining the GF technology and also a decrease on the module frames. We've been able to see some good market traction on that product, and all the test certifications have been done, and the products are passed all the third-party certification. So next year we'll be increasing our production for this P-type range to 80% to replace the previous 3.0. Now we have our N-type modules, which we use in our own technology. We call it this BiCM Plus cell technology. It's also based on the 182 wafer. As a company, we are keen to stick on the 182 wafer because of various reasons, and our cell efficiency of mass-produced module is 24.8%, which is very, very good. And the same, we normally keep the same product line or product basket across the segments to make sure that we address all the key markets. Residential, that covers residential rooftop, water pumping and all that, and the C&I and the utility scale project. So for this, the efficiency of the module is 22.4%, and we are able to achieve up to 625 watts. And the dimensions and the weight are within the given guidelines that govern PV OEMs. And on our N type, we have lower degradation. So versus what we have on the P type. So this time we have 1% on the first year and 0.4% over the 30 years. At the moment, on our N type, we started our mass production on the bifacial modules. We've not done on the monofacial. So on N-type, on N-type range, you can get the bifacial modules. And then the other benefit of our N-type is it has lower temperature coefficient. That is minus 0.3 versus the P-type, which is minus 0.35 and a higher bifaciality. So in a nutshell, N-type is superior to P-type. And comparing with our base, which is our Deep Blue 3.0, we are able now to add another 20 watts on the same module without affecting the module dimensions, and we have a better efficiency and a better temperature coefficient. So in terms of performance analysis, when we move from the Deep Blue, when we've improved our P-type with the GIF technology, we've been able to see a reduced LCOE of 3 to 4% on a specific project that we did a test in Dubai. It's a 100 megawatt project. So we've seen, because of the improvement of the power, we've seen the decrease in cost in terms of the racks, the inverter cost, construction cost, cable cost, and all other BOSs. And at the end, we have a reduced LCOE costs within 3 to 4%. On our N type, now this one also improved further the balance of system, reducing the cost of balance of system, and also improving also the LCOE by 4.6%. And we also compared our N-type modules also with our P-type modules, and we've been able to see that our N-type modules are generating close to 4% more energy compared to our P-type. And I think this is just key because of the better efficiency and also the better temperature coefficient of the N-type technology. And okay, that just brings me to the end of my presentation. So in the market in East Africa, we have products available with our distributors for different market segments. Thank you very much, Vaishali, for the time.
Thank you for the insightful presentation, sir. Now let's begin with the second presentation by Mr. Samir Jacob, Cleanergy. Sir, can you come on the stage, please? So sorry, you are on mute, Samir, sir.
Thank you. I'm just sharing my screen now. Apologies. Not sure what's happening. Okay, so can you see my screen there?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you see my screen now?
Sure. Yes, sir.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you, Jay Sola, for that presentation. A lot of interesting facts between the different types of modules there. Thank you, First View and Solar Quarter, for putting this show on for us and giving Cleanergy the opportunity to have a word with the Eastern market there in Africa. My name is Samir Jacob. I look after global marketing with Clenergy. Let's just jump into the presentation. So, in terms of Clenergy and our core mission as a brand, when we look at governments or commercial properties in the private sector, every department, every company out there, they all have each have a target for carbon neutrality, whether it's 2050, 2040, whatever it may be. With Clenergy, our approach is that whatever we design, whatever we manufacture, whether it's solar mounting structures, cable tray systems, tomorrow even battery storage, all the elements that we design are helping or enabling our clients reach those goals. So for us, we will constantly always be within the sustainability sector. In terms of some key markers for the company, we were founded in 2007, so that this marks this year as our 15-year anniversary, which we're very, very proud of. We are publicly listed. We've got manufacturing out of China, Indonesia, and in Australia. 15 gigawatts worldwide installations. We are the #1 brand in Australia and top 5 in China. In terms of our core business, it is pretty much within solar mounting structures. And we also do have various services within, let's say, EPC or PPA services, but that's primarily within our Chinese market. Predominantly across the globe, we do manufacturing and distribution. In terms of our global footprint, this is where we are. For the last 15 years, we've pretty much dominated within the Asia Pacific and Australia region. However, this year is a big transition year for Clenergy, and we have expanded all across Europe and activated a few distributors across the Middle East and Africa, as you can see. As you can see, the eastern part of Africa is quite bare, and we are looking for the right partners in this region. In terms of our teams, we've got a fairly large team here based out of Melbourne, where I am right now. Another quite large team there in Xiamen, which looks after primarily our manufacturing and logistics. And we also have an extensive team in Japan. In terms of our main product lines, we have PV EZ Rack, which is our solar mounting gear, and then we have Runner, which is our cable tray management brand. Let me jump into PV EZ Rack for the start. So what I'll do is I'll give you just an overhead view of the various product categories that we have within PV EZ Rack. So whether you're looking at solar roof, which is our roof mount gear, or solar terrace, which is our ground mount fixed tilts, or Easy Tracker, which is, as by the name suggests, is a tracking system. And we also have Clenergy Hollywood, which is our roof mount gear, but everything is all in black. So just to give you that clean black finish, just to complement all the top modules of today, which also have the black frames. We also do ground structures in terms of carports and post mounts. In terms of solar roof, we cover most categories, whether you're looking at a tin or metal roof, whether it's a penetrative or non-penetrative situation, where basically you have to nail the or screw in your mounting gear into the purlins, or maybe you're using clip-lock clamps to affix to that tin roof. In terms of tile roofs, there is a large variety of roofs and various hooks that we have, because across the various regions that we work out of, as you can imagine, there are residential properties, commercial properties, all with different types of tile roofs, and we adhere and answer to most of them. And also solutions there for flat roofs. So in terms of tin roofs specifically, whether you're looking with tin roofs, when you have a flat roof or a very low pitch roof, we've got a variety of options. If you're looking at adjustable tilts, where it starts from 5 degrees up to 20, or you're looking at, for example, the middle product, which is tripods, which is pre-assembled product, which comes over to site, or even our commercial tilt, which is also another a pre-assembled with 3 fixed tilt options of, I think, 5, 10, and 15 degrees. In terms of concrete roofs, we also do have ballast systems. So that's where, where the client doesn't want to penetrate that roof. And so we've got options there where you can lay the foundation of all the solar mounting gear and use concrete blocks to hold that system down to negate all of the, typical with the wind region and things like that. When it comes to solar mounting gear and let's say tin roofs, whether it's penetrative or non-penetrative, we've got a variety of clip lock clamps, which are basically the clamps that affix itself to the actual roofing structure. And what I've shown so far is just a small snippet of the various types of roof profiles that we look after. There's when you look at our catalogs, there's a large variety of different type of clamps there. When it comes to Clenergy Hollywood, we're very proud of this little sub-segment within solar roof, which is the all-black finish racking to accompany those all-black panels. This is a very premium product, and obviously it does well within the residential sector. In terms of ground mount, we've got a variety here as well. For example, going from left to right, the Solar Terrace 2, 3, and 5. And what that is it's a varying degree of durability and stability. So, for example, if your soil conditions are favorable and it's not a very high wind region and your terrain categories are of a low status, then you can go for example, Solar Terrace 2, which is just a single post. Or you can go for Solar Terrace 3, which is 3 posts as the wind conditions increase. Or if you're looking at Solar Terrace 5, which is a custom engineered product where the severity of your wind and soil is quite high. And so this is where you're talking to our engineers to make a custom project for yourselves. We do have obviously more options within ground mount. So again, I invite you to have a look at our catalogs on our website. So I'll just give you a quick little testimonial from one of our
This is why we went the ground mount, and I'm really happy with it. Really love it.
On this project, we've decided to use the Solar Terrace 2, which is a really good, rigid, great solution for ground mount. And the support that we've got from Clenergy all throughout the whole process of installing this one, as far as engineering, design, tech support, know-how, setup, degrees, is just next level. Clenergy has been fantastic with helping out on that, and they've got the best engineering that we can find in Australia that we've come across, and that's why I've always been super happy to use Clenergy.
Cool. Thanks for that, Bryn. In terms of our tracker range, again, you can see there's a bit of a variety here, whether you're looking at a singular panel in portrait or dual panel in portrait, as the image you can see in the center. We also have our next advanced tracker system, which is our D2P Pro, which is dual panel in portrait, but also has a smart solar tracking system, which is not only looking at the tracking of the sun, but also maintaining the weather patterns and in real time, and also basically the algorithm helps the system work more efficiently. In terms of ground structures, we do carports. As you can see there from the EasyShade 2.0 on the far left, that product there comes in silver and in black. It comes in a single bay or a double bay. And it comes also in extra modifications, whether you're going for regular size panels or extra large panels, as most of the panels are going up these days. We do have an engineered product there in the middle, which is our EasyShade Razor, which has just a singular post. It's a premium product there. And so with that one, you do need to sit down with the engineers where we will custom design that project for you. And then on the far right, you've got our post mounts, which it's a singular post, and you can have a variety from a singular panel up to 8 panels, regular panels or XL. Typically, we see this post mounts used in the agricultural sector when you're looking at water pumps and things like that. In terms of the brand globally, we have installations around the world. That's one of ours in 63 megawatts in Germany by our own team, across the United States. And we're quite extensive with our work all across Southeast Asia. We actually did an installation earlier this year in Kenya, which is it was actually the first one for us in the African region, and it was actually in Kenya. So that's a big milestone for us in our company, and we're looking forward to having much more in the coming future, hopefully with maybe someone here today. Jumping into our other segment, which is Runner, our cable tray systems. The cable trays have been around for a very, very long time, but let me just go to just the key differences. So with the cable trays, typically the finish on a cable tray is what we call as hot dipped galvanized, and that's what most cable tray companies use. For us, we're actually putting a MAC finish, which is a magnesium zinc alloy. And what that does is it actually is a premium solution that actually, if ever there's any scratches or marks on the actual cable tray, it self-heals itself over time. And so that comes at a premium there. In terms of our covers, we do have the standard cover, but because we come from the solar industry, we've actually custom made covers that actually have the words solar, DC, and warning already embossed. So if you're an installation company, typically you have to make stickers and labels, or you have to paint the word solar on your cable trays because they are live wires. And so we've actually gone ahead and embossed all those words onto the metal covers. This particular product series also comes with a smaller tray called the empty rail for your module rails behind your arrays. And also it comes with its range of accessories. As you'll see here as an example, this is one we showed earlier this year at our Japanese expo, where you can see how the versatility of the system going from of a high level to the low and then breaking out into a junction, all various possibilities with the Runner brand. In terms of Clenergy as a company, we take corporate social responsibility and environmental social governance very, very highly. A lot of our commercial clients actually have this as part of their criteria, that a lot of suppliers need to be giving back to society. So for example, with the It's Time Foundation, we donate to their cause. They have been installing ground mount solar systems across the Pacific Islands for remote schools, so that kids today can get a modern education and they don't have to rely on diesel generators. And we've been doing that consistently for the last 12 years. This year marks our 25th school that we have provided power to. We also donate towards the university, Monash University in Melbourne, for their motorsport team. We can also like our cars here, but specifically with Monash Motorsport, it's their F1 electric vehicles that we sponsor, because we also champion the electrification of transportation. So because we are also looking at getting into energy storage in the future. In terms of our presence, you will see on our website, we have a video section. We do a lot of panel discussions with industry stakeholders. We do installation videos, get testimonials, and we get really involved in the local industry. And so we're hoping to extend that into various markets in the eastern part of Africa. In terms of our difference, whenever a new distribution team or a new installation team comes on board with Clenergy, we provide that extra education and training, not only for your team, but also your clients. We collaborate with you. We co-brand with various panel manufacturers, inverter manufacturers, to see how well our product integrates with the panels or module level inverter systems. If you want to find a distributor near you, I invite you to go to theclenergy.com and click on the distributor link on our website, and then you can go through our filters to see which is the closest distributor to you. We also have our newsletter, which you can jump onto as well. So we typically send something out every 2 to 3 weeks. And lastly, in terms of all of our social channels, that's all of our tags there. We do a lot of content daily across most of these platforms. What I would recommend for most technical people out there on this call, on Facebook, we have a learning group, which is called Cleanergy Club, and that's where installers, technical personnel can take photographs of your various installations if you have a question, and typically you get an answer very, very quickly from our technical support team there, and also fans of Cleanergy. That's it from myself. Thank you very much for your time. We'll now look forward to the panel discussions. Thank you, and until the Q&A. Thank you.
Thank you for such an interesting presentation, Sami sir. So now it's time to begin with a much awaited panel discussion in which our expert panelists will discuss the solar market outlook, Eastern Africa. To discuss this, we have in the panel with us Mr. Samar Zawade, independent engineer, Mr. Bryson Hilary Kisamo, JA Solar, Ms. Grace Zuo, Cleanergy, Mr. Hamisi Mikate, Ensol, Mr. Philip Kamau, Questworks Energy, and Mr. Alex Mugume, Stonefield Solar. I welcome all our panelists on the screen. Before handing over the session to Samar sir, I would request to all attendees, if you have any questions during the discussion, please post them in the Q&A box. A panelist will take those questions at the end of the discussion. I request Mr. Samir sir to lead the discussion.
Thank you very much, Vishali, for your fantastic support. Big thanks to Solar Quarter for bringing this online webinars and sharing the experiences of the experts. And of course, huge thanks to JA Solar and Clean Energy for their sponsorship of this event. We are very lucky today to have a group of experts that will discuss the development of solar PV in the Eastern Africa. We'll start with Mr. Bryson Kisamo. Bryson, are you with us? Yes. Can you hear us?
Yes. Thanks a lot. Yes, I'm here. And good morning, everyone. Good afternoon.
Mr. Let me introduce you, Mr. Bryson. Mr. Bryson is the sales manager for JA Solar East Africa. He is based in Arusha, Tanzania, and he is the sales champion with 10 years experience in solar industry in East Africa market. He's a man of 3 Ds. Determination, devotion, and delivery more. So these are unique. And so you distinguish yourself with the 3 Ds. Very nice indeed. Mr. Bryson, can you tell us about the installations in 2022? Which countries in the region are leading the race of installations and what have been the key growth drivers? Over to you.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sami. Thanks a lot for this opportunity. Yes, thanks for that nice question. So I have 2 observations here. First, I need to analyze and highlight the position of solar energy with the other energy mix in East Africa. In East Africa, we just have only 2% of solar energy penetration to the East African energy mix. As you can see that in East Africa, hydropower, it is account for 54%, followed by the natural gas, that is 15%, and followed by the geothermal power, that is 12%. There is wind, about 3%. So So it is only 2% that solar energy is penetrated to the energy mix. So that is we are very low. It's quite we are behind actually for the solar energy. So I think there is a reason why I make this solar energy to be behind. One of the reasons is that the policies, regulations, the policies are there. We have announced policies, but the implementation of those policies is not well implemented. That's why we still have these 2% in the market. Another problem, another challenge is financing. We don't have enough financing. And, the financing institution, the financial banks, not willing to support the solar project because the return on investment of solar project takes a lot of time. There is high interest rate. Another challenge is infrastructure. It means the transmissions and the distribution channels not well connected. So those are the factors makes the East African region, the solar contribution to the energy mix to be very small. We have only 2%. That is very small. So we have a lot of work to be done so that we can prove this percentage. But in terms of who is leading in East Africa, Kenya is leading. In East Africa, we have a bucket of 200. Yes, Kenya is leading. So we have a bucket of 220 megawatt bucket of the potential in East Africa. But Kenya accounts for 182 megawatts only in Kenya. So the rest number that is 38, it is distributed into other East African countries. So Kenya is one leading in East Africa in terms of the solar installation. So why Kenya? Why Kenya is ahead? I think there is a reasons why Kenya is ahead. One of the reasons is that they have the right policies and the regulations. They have been established the so-called Energy Regulation Commission in 2015. So that kind of regulation regulates the importations of the solar. Regulate the importation of the solar by making sure that all the solar equipment imported in Kenya, it has the standard. They have a specific standard. So there is no poor, low quality product in the market in Kenya. Comparing to my country, Tanzania, honestly speaking, that once you go to the market, you can find the very poor, low standard solar panels, equipment of solar, low standard. So that also kills the trust for the users. So Kenya, they're more advanced on that level. Another reason why Kenya is leading, they have removed the input duties. They removed the value-added tax on the solar panels and other equipment. I do agree that also Tanzania will do, and Kenya and Uganda they do the same, but not as in Kenya, because there are some like panel and the battery, it is for free, no value-added tax. But other equipment like lighting, like solar TV, there is value-added tax. So that is kind of the barrier in which Kenya have already removed that kind of the barriers. And why Kenya is ahead, I think it's because of the economy. Kenya economy in East Africa is one leading in East Africa. They have a strong economy, they have a strong GDP, they have a purchasing power. Obvious, that is another factor. And lastly, I think the energy connection to Kenya, the grid connection is quite expensive. You can't compare the connection of grid in Kenya with Tanzania and Uganda. For example, in my country, Tanzania, the connection fee, it is 27,000 T shillings. That is equivalent to 11.1 USD. So it is quite cheaper, especially to the rural area. So in Kenya, the connection fee, it's very expensive. So the only option that the people they saw, it is the solar, and solar will be the cheapest. That's why Kenyans have more awareness in terms of solar. So once you go to Kenya, you can find rooftoping, you can find some factory using solar to reduce the cost of production. So I think Kenya is one leading, and I think others countries will come. Yes, that is more observation.
Thank you very much, Brayson. So to summarize, what you're saying is that Kenya is leading in Eastern Africa, and the reasons are well-developed regulations in the market that is prohibiting low quality. And then you have the buying power. So the people have money to buy the renewable energy, and the government has removed the tax, the VAT tax. And you're saying that the cost of connection to the electricity grid is high. So these are the drivers for the key drivers for growth. Very interesting. Can you tell us, Brayson, about the anticipated growth in 2023 and the next 12 months to 18 months? What are your expectations for the Eastern Africa market? Over to you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Let me explain back, like two years back, we have been affected by the COVID. The pricing of the raw material has been increasing. We have been experiencing the high shipping costs increasing. We've been experiencing a lot of projects that was been on hold. We've been experiencing that some of the clients, they're not even buy because of the price is expensive. So this year, we've been experiencing the drop in terms of the raw material, in terms of model pricing and shipping costs. So, and also we have another member of the East African country that is DRC Congo. DRC Congo, it's a virgin land. It is very, very wide potential. It has more than 8 megawatt opportunities. So once we'll add this the 8 megawatt, including with what we have, we'll have the max of 300 megawatt in East Africa. So the growth in 2023, it will be increasing because there is many other factors which are affecting the growth, but the pricing is one of the main key factors. So the price now is affordable. So we'll see projects open up. We'll see the business will be open up. We'll see more orders coming, and the trend will be having the positive trend.
Okay, Brayson, thank you very much. This is very good news, expecting development and the growth in the industry in 2023 of about 300 megawatts. Thank you very much, Brayson. I'm sure that we will have more questions to you in the Q&A session after our panel discussion. Our next speaker, I would like to go to Ms. Grace. Ms. Grace, are you with us? Ms. Grace?
Yes, I'm
okay.
online.
You are here. Excellent. Okay. Let me introduce Ms. Grace Zhao. She's the sales director of Clean Energy. She has over 12 years experience in renewable energy and solar industry, 12 years career dedication to clean energy. She's leading Clean Energy International sales team, actively engaged with business development in regions such as Europe, Middle East, Africa, and South Africa. She has rich experience with market development, branding, and global marketing planning. She has also clear target of business development for African market and setting up sales challenge in South Africa, West Africa, and now East Africa. It is an honor to have you with us, Ms. Grace. We'd like to start off our questions with you telling us about the advantages of clean energy. What are the clean energy advantages, please? Over to you, Ms. Grace.
Thank you. Thank you for having me online today. It's a great honor for me to showcase the Clean Energy. And yeah, it's So about the advantage of Clenergy, so as mentioned by Mr. Samir, Clenergy is a publicly listed company in Shanghai main board. So we have our brand well acknowledged in various regions like Australia, Japan, Europe, and Middle East and Southeast Asia. So yeah, I think it's the most important advantage for Clenergy to penetrate into African market. And secondly, Clenergy is a technology oriented company. So we value the technology, and so meaning that we follow, yeah, so when we develop our products, we follow the strength of the technology from the industry. And yeah, so and we implement the concept of easy installation in terms of the mounting structure. We value the easy installation, and we put our customer in the first place, and we integrate the concept of technology into the product development, especially for the rooftop solution, the ground mount, and also the tracker. And yeah, so I would like also to talk about the advantage of Clenergy is the quality. We value the quality, especially from the start. We put a very high, Clenergy standard for the raw materials selection, and also the production procedure. We follow 6S system from Japanese standard. We follow it very strictly in all of our factories in Xiamen, in our factory in Tianjin, and the new factory in Xinjiang province. And yeah, so that's in terms of the quality. And last point I would like to mention is the service. We take good care of our clients globally, no matter where our customers, and we have a very professional team. From when we have the local team, we take care of them locally. When we do our international sales, and our international sales team who are based in Xiamen, the headquarters of Clenergy, we serve them from our headquarters. So we provided pre-sale service to know about the client's requirement. We understand the pain and their difficulties, and we will work together with the engineering team to provide the solution. And after that, when the sales done, we provide the after sale service to guide them through about the installation, about the if they have any difficulty to maybe on logistics, on the installation, etc. And our team is always there. We get back to our clients in 24 hours time. That's our commitment. And yeah, so that's about it. It's about the general idea of the Clenergy, what we can offer, and the advantage of Clenergy. And we hope we can, as a team of Clenergy International Sales, that we can contribute to the development of Eastern Europe, Eastern Africa solar industry. So we can devote our support to help the sector to grow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Grace. I'm sure that you're doing a fantastic job across the supply chain and helping the customers identifying the problem and finding the right solutions. And that's why you're growing all over. And hopefully you'll have many projects in East Africa.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it.
Yeah. My second question would be about the how to ensure quality of the structures. Can you tell us about that, please? Over to you, Ms. Grace.
Yeah, about the structure is more specific on the product side. So yeah, so as I mentioned earlier about the quality. So basically, from the step one, we set up very strict policy on the material selection, which should meet the standard for the industry and even for different countries. So multi-structure is different from panel, from inverter. We need to carefully study the regulation, the standard, structural standard in each country. For example, in Europe or maybe in Africa, South Africa, East Africa, and West Africa, they have different structural standard that we need to follow, and that we need to integrate all these standards into the design of the structure, especially for the large utility farm that it's highly depends on the design of the multi-structure company, that we need to understand the local standard and how they can they implement. It will be easy for them to get the product and very easy to install. And secondly, around about the quality, how do we ensure that? Cleanergy have in-house laboratory. So it's in-house in all of the 3 factories we have in China. And we have a very professional team in QC team that they are familiar with the different standard like salt spread test and the strength test, everything. We can have we have our own team, in-house team to do it. And also we collaborate with the third party like SGS, TUV Institute to work together to ensure that Cleanergy offer the best quality product to our clients. Yeah. So, and apart from all this, so we are now entering the market especially in East Africa, and we are starting if there's a specific requirement to have third party or the local engineer to sign off any calculation regarding the structure that we need to be approved by local institute. And that after that, Cleanergy structure will be able to accept it by the local company. So in general, Cleanergy follow very strict, QC procedure from the very start, from the material and to design and to the last step to the product supply. So it's a standard strictly set up by the company, and then everyone involved in the process were strictly followed, and that it's our commitment also to the market. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Grace. Definitely very clear dedication to quality, and I'm sure that you are getting the TUV and other certifications, and the more certifications you have, the better feeling the customer will have. And hopefully I will try to visit you one time in China, in Xiamen. I've been to Xiamen before.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. And you are most welcome if you are ever in the Middle East to stop by Jordan, and we'll show you our projects.
Definitely. We'll certainly do that when we are there.
I'd like to follow up on the questions for clean energy with Mr. Samir. Mr. Samir Yaqub, I know that you are eager to speak, like always, Samir. Let me introduce you. Samir facilitates the brand strategy, communication, and social content. He has worked in the renewable energy for 12 years, and prior to that, in the FMCG, tourism, and education sectors. He has worked and traveled across Asia, Europe, South America, and the Middle East. Samir, can you tell us about the clean energy, about the benefits that clean energy can bring to the East African markets and the development of the solar sector? Over to you, Samir.
Thank you, Samir. I really appreciate it. And thank you for your time again. So there's a lot of things that Grace has already mentioned. Just one of the things I will add on to is when you look at module manufacturers or inverters or batteries, all of these 3 components part of your solar system is all electrical. And so most of the engineering, the knowledge is on the electrical engineering side of things. With Clenergy, we are structural engineers, we are civil engineers. And so that is what our team brings in terms of knowledge. So what we look at is what is the terrain category, what that is looking at the buildings around, the forest around, what are the things that obstruct your the wind to your solar system. So it is terrain, it is wind regions, soil conditions. Grace, I think you are not muted. If you can just check that, thank you. So we look at things from a different angle, basically, and that's the knowledge that we want to bring to the Eastern African market. Now, when we jump into a new sector, it's not just us bringing knowledge; it's a lot of collaboration. Because for us, it's about important partnering with the local associations, partnering with local influencers who champion the technical side and the structural side of solar projects, EPCs, etc. So we use and we want to bring them into our little world, and we basically what we call as stakeholder groups. We get knowledge. We basically share knowledge from both sides, and so that's what we want to bring to the table. So in terms of your question, in terms of benefits, Grace has pretty much answered that question there. I just wanted to add in that it's not just we're not coming in as one side. It's a complete collaborative effect. I hope that answers your question. Oh, you're muted, sir. Oh, Samuel, you need to unmute. Yes. Not sure why.
Definitely, yes. Sorry about that, Samir. My mistake. And definitely, I totally agree with you. Solar PV projects are 50% electrical and 50% others. And structural is very important and can go between 10 to 15%, closer to 15%. So definitely what you're doing is fantastic, focusing on the structural, civil, and of course, after sales and operation and maintenance are extremely important. So I salute you, and I'm sure that all the clients that are working with you are happy and generating more than the planned or expected energy. And hopefully we'll see you sometime in the Middle East or Eastern Africa. Thank you very much.
Very soon.
Mr. Philip, are you with us? Our next esteemed speaker. Philip?
Yes, I'm here, Samir.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes.
Mr. Philip is the Chief Technology Officer at Questwork Energy and the Managing Partner at the Renewable Energy Solutions. He has been in the renewable energy space for the last 9 years and was behind some of Kenya's first solar CNI project. CNI means Critical National Infrastructure, which is very impressive. He is an electrical engineer by training, a member of the Association of Energy Engineers, a certified professional trainer licensed by the Kenya Energy Regulatory Authority. Questwork Works is one of the leading renewable energy companies in Kenya, having delivered 150 megawatts of renewable energy projects, both utility and CNI, in an EPC capacity. The firm has also helped develop another 130 megawatts of renewable energy projects in a consulting capacity. Questworks is currently part of the team deploying 55 megawatts in Eldoret, Kenya. Very impressive work, Mr. Philip, and I'm very happy that you are part of the AAE as well. I was the president in 2020. Hopefully, we'll see you soon at one of the events. And it seems that you are doing fantastic work in Kenya, and I hope that you continue doing this. Can you tell us a little bit about how do the latest technologies in modules and inverters help the levelized cost of energy management. Over to you, Philip.
Thank you for that question, Samar. And as mentioned, we've been in the renewable energy space in Kenya since 2013. And between that time and now, we've seen quite a lot of significant development as far as that space goes. And I'm happy that Brayson, in his opening remarks, did allude to some of those steps that have been taken by the entire region. However, the question at hand today, when you're looking at the levelized cost of electricity, I would like to say this aspect is a two-sided coin. And in which regard? One is from the CapEx side, and number two is from the OpEx side. And I would just want to take you back very quickly to one of our very initial projects. At the time, the project that was commissioned back in 2014, a 600 kilowatt peak commercial and industrial project, one of the first in the country to have a PPA. And at the time, the CapEx at the time was as high as $2 per watt plus. And most recently, a project that we have deployed just a few months back, we were able to deploy at $0.8 per watt. And you can see the significant drop in terms from a CapEx perspective. And considering that the CapEx alone, again, from the matrices that we have, considering that the CapEx alone contributes upwards of 60% to the cost that goes into the LCOE, it's a significant impact on the LCOE for these projects. However, closer home in terms of technology, and Cleanergy did allude to this, JA Solar did allude to this, specifically when looking at inverters and modules. One thing that we can all appreciate in this webinar today is a dramatic drop in cost of solar photovoltaic modules globally. And I believe closer home, more specifically in Kenya, this can be attributed to two things. And number one, which is the government policies that have really complemented the uptake. And number two, the technology itself. I could say for modules, back in 2014, comparing 2014 and projects that we're deploying now, we've seen a significant increase in the efficiency of the modules itself. 20 to 30% increase in efficiency. And because of this, and because of the reduction that now you need a smaller unit area to deploy the same size of project, from an EPC point of view, the BOS costs to us has dropped by 20%. In fact, projects of similar size, one deployed in 2014, one deployed in 2019, the project deployed in 2019 were able to use around 20% less modules. And they are later on in a project that was deployed in late 2021, we were able to deploy only around 50% less modules compared to what we were doing in 2014. Now, the overall impact of this is quite significant, because even from a development point of view, the impact of labor, we've had 4 to 10%, depending on the project, reduction in labor. We've had, as mentioned, 20% thereabout reduction in overall BOS costs, and if reduction in overall labor cost by another 8%. Of course, the inverters and the panels have been critical to this, but it goes without saying, as mentioned again by Cleanergy, that there are also many other components to a solar PV project. And just by using better mounting gear, we've been able to also reduce that cost, labor cost, by 4%. So I would say that in terms of the impact from a technology point of view, there's quite a bit that can be done. And that's why it's important to have also platforms like this, that both developers and clients and end off-takers can be able to understand and learn what is the latest in the market, what are the trends in the market, because this has a very definite impact on the project. Last but not least, I would also like to quickly mention the impact that we have realized from the OpEx side of life. And we have seen more so with inverters. We did insist in most of our projects the importance of having visibility. And in some of those projects, we've had visibility at a panel level. However, running the project done in 2014, for instance, we've been running the maintenance for the last years. So the last 8 years. So we've also been able to appreciate the impact of this visibility to the project as a whole. In terms of preventative maintenance, for instance, we are able to tackle a problem well before it happens. And that has significant impact. Again, the OPEX alone contributes, again, this is project-based, but may contribute anything from 30 to 45% of the lifetime costs that end up impacting the LCOE. So these are some of the things, Summer, that we have experienced. Of course, it's indeed a wide topic, and we look forward to more platforms like this so that we can share more insights.
I just have one more comment to clarify to everybody. I understand that the efficiency of the modules have increased, so the area required has been reduced. But I want to ask you about the impact of development in inverters, where you are increasing the DC-AC ratio now. What is the maximum in DC-AC ratio that you are using?
Now we are using 117 to 120%. So we're able to oversize actually the inverter by around 120%. That is what we are doing. But I know in the industry there are also other players that may go slightly higher.
So you just to clarify, is it 20% or 120%?
No. So in terms of, so this is what I mean now. So we can have for a 120 kilowatt peak DC system, we're able to do around 100 kilo inverter thereabout. So
okay.
So even in terms, it's not a one-to-one. So again, as you correctly say, Sama, then there's also some saving on that end.
Yeah, definitely. Very clear. Thank you very much. The second questions that I would like to ask you is about what are the key issues faced in new project construction and execution in the region? Over to you, Philip.
Yeah, I would say one of our experiences, and this is dating back to 2014 and throughout our journey, is one of the things that we grappled with, and in some of the projects that we have helped develop also in other countries. We've done some projects in Zambia, some projects in Rwanda, we've done some projects in Uganda and in Tanzania. And it's a challenge that we had across board was to do with the limited technical expertise. And that is why one of our critical mandates, even as an EPC company, has been to grow capacity. And as Cleanergy also alluded to, the importance of the stakeholder forums, because then people can tackle these issues from a point of knowledge. So during the initial steps, and we witnessed this a lot when we were deploying, when we were part of the team that was deploying a recently commissioned 98 megawatt plant in the west part of the country, was we had to undertake a lot of capacity building, because such a project, we were enlisting easily 200 to 300 people. And you can imagine at that scale, and also with the consideration that we also have to hire largely from the local community as a requirement, then we also had to complement our efforts by doing a lot of capacity building efforts. And this was one of the challenges that we have faced, especially on the utility scale of life. And so our way of tackling this is also to make sure that even as we're discussing the projects with the project developers, then we take this into account from a cost point of view, and this also forms the basis of the calculations that go into the LCOE and go into the project cost. The other challenge that we've had, and this is from a developer point of view, is on financing. Much less now, but is one of the challenges that we've had 2 years back, especially with working capital financing, because some of these projects, they are milestone based, and at the same time they are time bound. So we then needed to raise quite significant financing in a very short period of time. But we are happy that developers and financiers alike are becoming more flexible, and we are able to negotiate some of these contracts way before the work begins to make sure that the working capital is secured. Thank you, Samuel.
Thank you very much, Philip. My last question to you is about the anticipated growth in 2023. Can you tell us what you expect in the next 16 months? Over to you.
Thank you, Sama. So I would like to start by saying this, that in the last 2 to 3 years, actually, we have been involved directly in 3 of the most recent utility scale projects, actually totaling to 150 megawatts plus. The two of these projects have since been commissioned, and one is just on the commissioning step. On the CNI space, in the last year, we've been involved in EPC and consultancy work in worth of 5 megawatts worth of CNI projects. And why do I say this? Is looking back at that, we can see that we've gotten to a point, not only in Kenya, but in the region at large, where clients are more open to the adoption of renewable energy technologies, and more specifically, solar PV. And we've seen increased demand of the same, but that has also gone hand in hand with the awareness that is now there on the impact that off-takers can have by deploying solar, by being able to shave off 40-50% of what would have otherwise been power imported from the utility grid. The other thing that we have seen, and this was alluded to also by Mr. Brayson in his opening remarks, is also the increasing government support that is there. That in the last few years we've seen more so in Kenya, but also in the other countries alike. We've seen a lot of growing interest in the energy space as a whole. In fact, for Kenya, there were announcements that were just recently done, and Kenya is shooting to be 100% renewable by 2030. So you can see then governments are increasingly aligning themselves also to the uptake of renewables. And so the outlook for 2023, not only globally, but also in the East African region, is that we're expecting that 2023 would be a year that will mark most installed projects. In closing, I would just like to add one thing. One of the things that we've also been pushing for, also as a country, is on the net metering, for instance. And now we are happy, even with recent announcements done by the regulator, that we'll get to a point that this will be adopted. And from the CNI point of view, we should be able also to have more uptake. And so as ours is just to encourage such initiatives, more tax incentives, and through this route, we should be able to increase the uptake. Thank you, Samuel.
Yeah, thank you very much, Philip. But I have to ask you one more question, please, because you keep mentioning the CNI. So I want you to define what is CNI and who is defining the CNI in your country. Thank
yes,
you.
No. In the respect of this webinar today, the CNI I'm referring to is commercial and industrial projects. So some are in respect to the webinar today.
Okay. Thank you, because I made a mistake by identifying the CNI as the critical national infrastructure, which is something else. Sorry about that. So CNI is C and I, so it's not an N, it's an A and D. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Philip. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hamishi, are you with us?
Yes. I'm there with you.
Amazing. Mr. Hamishi, glad that you are with us today. Mr. Hamishi is the managing director and co-founder of Ensol Limited, which is an EPC company with 20 years experience in the market. He is an electrical engineer by profession. Mr. Hamishi, it's a fantastic opportunity that you are with us today. Can you tell us about the commercial and industrial market trends in Tanzania, and are they open to installation of solar PV? Over to you, Mr. Hamishi.
Thank you very much, Sama. I'm very honored to be presented with this opportunity to join the panelists, very distinguished experts in solar industry. Sendai in Tanzania, is the upcoming business. It's unlike Kenya, where they have gone very far. They have installed a megawatt of solar plants, especially rooftop. So yes, it's a very new thing. It is just coming up, and as or being told by Alex, when we say C&I, we refer to commercial and industrial solar applications. And in Tanzania, it is recognized by a regulator, and it starts from 15 kilowatt to 100 to 1 megawatt scale, as long as it is for individual applications and it is commercially used. And as I've said, in Tanzania is very new, and we've seen upcoming interest from corporates, mainly the companies which are international, have presence here, international companies which have presence here in Tanzania. There is a little bit reluctant from local companies like manufacturing industries, because they are more focused on economic benefits, while those international companies are more interested on meeting ESG goals. And by that, why locals are reluctant, it's because the tariffs, the utility tariffs are much lower compared to what C&I can offer. So we have to do a lot to justify how they will benefit economically. The higher tariffs we have is 15, and that's mostly for the residential. The tariffs between 50 kilowatt to around 300 kilowatt. So that's where we get the good tariff of around 15 cents. So below that, for most of the industry, they are benefiting from utility tariffs, and that's why they are a bit reluctant. But as the prices are going down for solar panels and the BOS, there is a chance for the solar to penetrate in the commercial and the industrial space. But also, because we still have the problem of reliability, most people, they wish to have a hybrid solution. And when you say hybrid, then even the cost is going up, especially when you're applying in the industrial and commercial buildings. You need to have a bigger storage, and therefore capex is becoming so higher, and people, they don't see the value of having a solar, but when grid power goes off, they don't get anything in their factories. So that's one challenge which we are trying to address, and we welcome our colleagues around the region to come and see how we can develop C&I market in Tanzania.
Very nice. And the hybrid projects that you were mentioning, are they diesel PV, or are they? You're thinking also of lithium-ion batteries?
Both. The diesel PV, there is no issue because currently most of them, they have the generators. Maybe they are not very efficient, but they have the generators. So you can use hybrid controllers to integrate between solar and the generators. But they see they will not use a full potential of the installed systems if they use generators. So lithium is what the industry is looking for.
Yeah, definitely everybody is waiting for the lithium ions.
Yes, sure.
Can you tell us about the regulations related to the commercial and industrial projects in Tanzania?
Yes, the regulation here is very flexible, and they're already there, regulated by EWURA, Energy and Water Utility Regulatory Authority. For C&I projects, what you need to do is just to register the projects through online application, which you do it in the website of the regulator. So you can access it. It's free, but once you apply it, you pay like $100. That's all. But you need to register as long as the project is between 15 kilowatt to 1 megawatt, and it is for commercial use.
Okay. And how about the anticipated growth in the next 16 months in 2023? What do you expect will happen in Tanzania? Over to you.
Yeah. We are very optimistic that there will be a good growth in the next 15 months to come. One, because the current government has ambitious targets to meet in renewable energy contribution in the energy mix of the country. So there are utility scale solar power projects. One, it's already in a bidding process. They procured the bidders through expression of interest. So they have the 5 bidders already, and now the bidders are presenting their bid, I think, by the end of this month, and it is 50 megawatt utility scale. And there are other 3 more which will be coming in the next 6 months. But also, as I've said, there is an interest from companies, private companies, for their industrial and commercial buildings, as long as we meet those 2 criteria, the issue of reliability and the issue of capex and the financing as a whole. So there is that interest, and some have already started to implement such kind of projects, not in large scale, but 100, 200, 50, 20, that size. Thirdly, still we have off-grid market, and there are always challenges in developing mini-grid business, but the government has settled it, and now we are expecting the next 2-3 months to roll out mini-grid projects all over the country, especially in small islands. So, and they have RBF funding from Swedish government and so forth. So we are expecting mini-grid business to come back in the next 2-3 months. Thirdly, we can see all over East Africa, the governments are pushing very much to go green. And as my colleagues say, we have Congo now, which is a very big country, and a big part of it is not electrified, and solar could be one of the best solutions for them.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Hamshi, for your insight and very exciting news for East Africa in the next 16 months. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm sure that
Thank
we
you.
will get back to you with the Q&A question session.
Okay.
Mr. Alex, are you with us?
Yes, Samir.
Excellent.
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Let's introduce Mr. Alex. Mr. Alex has 10 years experience in the energy sector across Far East, the Middle East, and East Africa. So he's been all over the place, all over the world. Currently part of the Aston Field Solar Africa team, which has been leading the solar EPC sector with over 65 executed projects in the Eastern African cooperates and over 100 plus projects completed as of 2022. Very impressive, Mr. Alex. We need more people like you in the world. Let's start with the question about money. Raising finance for solar energy projects in Eastern Africa. How can we do that, Mr. Alex?
Now, before I answer that question, we'll need to address the issue of application of mature supply chain financing strategies into immature supply chain markets. What do I mean? Let me give you an example. Countries such as South Africa and India are regarded as mature supply markets. So many of the capital stacks that we get tend to bring in strategies from those countries over to East Africa, which doesn't work. It creates confusion and it creates bottlenecks. So in countries such as India and South Africa, where execution risks are almost non-existent on the most basic of issues, for example, delivery of materials to site, supply chain logistics, etc. These are such issues that we face here in East Africa. We don't manufacture the products from here. We have to import majority of these components over to our countries here in order to implement. A discussion needs to be had between the ecosystem, and all stakeholders need to acknowledge that things need to be changed. In my experience here in East Africa regarding to raising finance, we've been doing a lot of work with the French Development Bank under their SUNREF program. So under their SUNREF program, there are bilateral credit lines that they extend over to local banks, which greatly de-risks the venture, because now the financial institutions are now dealing with local banks in country as opposed to dealing with corporates. They have taken a different approach to the credit-driven model that we have, that all of us are familiar with, and in it they prefer many of the corporates to own the asset on their balance sheet. Once they own the asset on their balance sheet, they are able to take advantage of the tax incentives that are available here in Uganda, for example. And what's happening now, many of the private sector companies here are now, they don't feel obligated to go after the 10 to 15-year contingency liability contracts that many of these PPAs offer. So they're able to own the asset and repay the loan from the savings they would have made, and repay the loan in a timely manner. One more thing, I would like to give an example of mature and immature supply markets. For example, to set up 1 megawatt of power in South Africa would cost you about $650,000. Yet to do the same in Kenya, it would cost you about $850,000. So you see how the variation in price, yet you're installing the same system in place, you see how the variation in price can affect ability for someone to do the project. This stems from statutory and non-statutory liabilities that investors don't fully understand in the region. So to bring me to in closing, raising capital here in East Africa needs to be focused on fit for purpose, as opposed to the long-term agreements many of the investors prefer. That's all I have to say on the matter.
Okay.
Yes.
This is interesting. It's definitely has to do with the market and how the stakeholders are feeling, if they are confident or not. Okay. Our next question is about the tariff. What is the expected future development for the tariffs in the industrial, commercial, and residential sectors, please?
At this moment in time where things are trending in Kenya especially. For commercial, you find about 13 cents per kilowatt. If you go to, 20 cents per kilowatt. As you go to industrial, it will be about 13 cents per kilowatt. If you go over to residential, it's between 20 to 25 cents per kilowatt. This is in Kenya. In Uganda, it's a different story. What the state company has done here, they cut deals with big projects. So they're able to give industrial consumers much cheaper rates, which has caused, which we see as a big issue here. We see it as playing dirty, but as we all know, that's the nature of the business, and we have to find a way to adapt. So what we've tried to do is try to focus on bringing early adopters on, such as agriculture, processing plants, etc., so that we can eat up into that market share.
I see. Okay. Our last question is about the market in East Africa.
Yes.
Which countries are leading the race for installation, and what have been the key growth drivers, please? In your opinion, over to you.
Yes, as Astonfield, we've done a number of projects over in Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone. I know we're focusing mainly on East Africa. In East Africa, the highest number of installations are over in Kenya. It shows to be showing a higher momentum. There's a higher need due to the high cost of fossil fuels and grid power. Xeno markets such as Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi are about 5 years behind, but they are catching up, and there's room for growth. And yeah, that's where I see things going.
So Kenya is the leading country in Eastern Africa, and
yes,
it will pull the rest of the countries with it. Okay,
yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alex, for your insights, and I'm sure that we will get back to you with more questions in the Q&A session. With this, we have completed our panel discussion, and I would like to ask our esteemed staff support from Solar Quarter, Vishali, do we have questions from the audience, please?
Yes, sir. I have seen 2 questions. 1 second, I'll just check. It's for Bryson, sir.
Okay. Very good. Bryson, are you with us? Can you read Bryson?
This is a statement, I guess. The quality of PV equipments in Kenya is not as different as in East Africa.
Okay. Let's see. Bryson, are you with us? If he is not there, yeah?
Hello. Yes, I'm here. Yeah. Actually, I don't see the question. I don't think the question there, but what I was trying to explaining about one of the factors that's making Kenya being leading in East Africa is that they have a clear regulation, especially they have established this energy regulation committee that is dealing with regulating all the importations, and Kenya is play a great role, especially with this committee that we can see a lot of importations of solar. It's of high standard quality compared to any East African countries, because you can find many of the poor quality product of solar in Tanzania or in Uganda, but in Kenya it's much advanced compared. So I was trying to explaining why Kenya was ahead based on this kind of the regulation which they have.
Yeah, definitely. Regulations make a difference, and Kenya seems that it's more developed. So when you have a committee in place that prohibits the importation of low quality material, then you have better quality material in the market. So makes sense. Okay, Vishali, do we have another question, please?
No, sir. We don't have any questions. Do you want to give any conclusion remarks?
Conclusion remarks. Yes, of course. It seems that we have high prospects in Eastern Africa, and I think all the stakeholders are doing great jobs, and I believe they will have very prosperous future in developing the markets. It seems that we have to focus on capacity building. So I recommend that to all of you as companies and stakeholders, in your capacity is to educate your customers, educate the key stakeholders in the market and the influencers. Definitely, the influencers in different sectors, education, tourism, industry, and commercial sectors. So these influencers will develop the big projects. They will develop the key projects, and the others will follow. The drivers, as we saw, that um, uh, more countries they have developed their energy sector or solar PV sector in early on during the past 10 years. So they have a little bit of advantage, like Kenya. But from my experience, the sector is evolving very fast, and if you have good group of people in any country in Eastern Africa, they can do amazing things. Solar prices are dropping. Technology is evolving. More, we are installing more solar in less space with less money. So the opportunities will keep on increasing. The problem with the tariff, of course, I understand the problem with the tariff. It's different from one country to another, and the higher the tariffs, the more attractive solar is. But really, solar levelized cost of energy is the cheapest cost of energy all around the world. So the issue is with the professionals educating themselves to present the right solutions. The benefits are extremely high. I think the professionals in Eastern Africa, they have to look at global funds like the Climate Fund and other global funds that are seeking to reduce the carbon emissions. So the carbon, let's say, trading might provide an advantage to the solar PV markets in the future, to reduce the cost and subsidize some of these costs. Definitely, the quality is very important, and I advise all the attendees, all the stakeholders to focus on quality, because you are working on developing a project that will last between 25 and 30 years. So there is no compromise on quality. So quality is 100% the most important factor across the supply chain, from the design, from the material. So as I'm very happy that Clean Energy is focusing on quality, and they stressed that very clearly, and I totally support that. And this will make your project is a success, and this will make you a success, and this will bring more projects to you. So my advice is to all the stakeholders, all the listeners, is to focus on the quality. And this is what I have to say. I'm very happy with being with you today, listening to the speakers, to the panelists, and I'm sure we will see amazing things happening in Eastern Africa. Over to you, Vishali. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much for the conclusion. And also, in the meanwhile, we have received one questions from the audience. So I would like to
Okay,
show
go
on
ahead.
the stage. So, is this energy storage system a reality in Eastern Africa?
Definitely. Maybe Samir mentioned that they will work on storage in the future. Samir, you like to take the first
I mean,
try and answer?
just from my own experience, I can say that when you say energy storage, it's a very large topic. Are we talking because lead acid batteries are still applicable? You have inverters out there that can deal with that very robust old school technology, which works really well and very less maintenance. If you're looking at portable energy, that is portable batteries connected to a couple of solar panels. That's something that could take off really well in the African market. And then going up to, let's just say, lead carbon batteries or lithium batteries, which is, let's say, the higher segment. As regions develop, as you get more and more confident with, typically when you see countries move from fixed tilt solar ground mount to, let's say, trackers, so that's like a technological jump. You also see, because at the same time, countries being more open to batteries. So, in most countries, you will start with, I guess, you start with lead acid, with solar inverters, and then you move to different types of chemistries that work well for you. There are so many different chemistries out there. The lead acid, lead carbon. Within lithium alone, there is lithium ferrophosphate, lithium titanate, lithium ion, and they're all at different price levels. So depending on the chemistries that people are looking at, there's definitely a lot of opportunity. We just recently launched a portable power system, which is like 400 watts, 600 watts, 1 kilowatt batteries that you can take around with you wherever you go and charge by a solar panel or charge it in your car charger. So there's so many different options out there.
Yeah, thank you very much, Samir, for this nice answer. Any other expert from our esteemed panelists would like to share their experience? Okay. I like to just point out that we have different kinds of storage. We can have storage on the transmission grid, and that kind of storage might be pumped hydro storage. So you're talking about big projects like megawatt storage, and or you can have lithium-ion battery storage like big container size batteries. Uh, Now we're seeing 10, 100, and even 1,000 megawatt hours lithium-ion battery storage. For the distribution grids, we do have different kind of storage. We might have thermal storage, and we might have lithium-ion battery storage. As Samir said, there are different types. There are about 6 types of lithium-ion battery storage. And on the distribution grid, we also have, in addition to the lithium-ion battery storage, we have the vehicle to grid storage. So electric vehicles already have batteries, and in more developed countries where you have a smart grid, you can develop the V2G, vehicle to grid. So these are the 3 types of or 3 levels of storage. Thank you very much. Over to you, Vishali.
Thank you very much to all our esteemed panel for this wonderful session, and a very special thanks to Samir sir for superbly managing the panel discussion. Thank you everyone for extending your time and support for the event. We promise you to come back with more exciting topics very soon. Thanks to our partners, JA Solar and Cleanergy, for extending their immense support to organize this webinar. The floor is now open for networking.
Thank you, Vaishali.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.